You must eat breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day, everyone has said for the past 30 years. Meanwhile, obesity rates and overweight rates are now at record proportions, even in young children. So it turns out that short sleep time may be the reason why irregular breakfast eating and consumption is linked with higher amounts of obesity and being overweight. So we're going to talk about a study titled "Short Sleep Time May Be the Main Reason for Irregular Breakfast to Cause Overweight," a cross-sectional study. Now, I think this is really interesting. This was an analysis of about 1,100 individuals that were at a university setting in China. The conclusion of this study is short sleep duration may be the main reason for irregular breakfast leading to overweight. Adequate outdoor exercise is essential for weight maintenance, the investigators say. So let's talk about what they are highlighting here. They're highlighting the fact that numerous epidemiological studies have found that irregular breakfast eaters have increased body mass indexes, increased waist circumference, poor metabolic health, and beyond. Part of the reason why this may be is because they have circadian rhythm disruption, because it turns out that your food influences your body's circadian clock system in the same way that light does. And if you're irregularly eating food and you're having improper sleep-wake cycles, that is part of the same coin that is linked with developing obesity and cardiometabolic disease. And so they go on to say that debate continues over the optimal number and timing of eating episodes for overweight individuals. The results of meta-analysis show that skipping breakfast increases the risk for overweight, and these results are consistent across age, sex, region, and economic conditions. Further research has also found that eating breakfast irregularly may be detrimental to weight status. This may be related to changes in energy intake due to dietary intake. Studies have shown that the presence or absence of energy intake and the duration and the regularity of energy intake may change energy balance to varying degrees, including by affecting fat storage and insulin sensitivity. And the change of energy balance is one of the causes of being overweight. However, at the same time, different forms of energy expenditure, such as exercise, may also affect the energy balance through energy expenditure. Now, here's what's really interesting. The relationship between dietary intake and energy balance may be related to circadian rhythms. Now, this is no surprise to you if you've been subscribing to this channel. Starting in 2017, or really in 2014, when we launched this channel, July of 2014, we talked all about circadian rhythm health. This was a big facet of our first book, Belly Fat Effect. The investigators say the circadian rhythm system represents all physiological processes involved in the 24-hour cycle, such as sleep-wake cycles, blood pressure, heart rate, hormone secretion, cognitive performance, and emotional regulation. Research shows that the sirtuin genes are associated with circadian rhythm, and the activity of these proteins can be regulated through processes that influence lipid metabolism and sugar. At the same time, circadian rhythm dysfunction increases post-meal ghrelin levels and decreases leptin levels, leading to risk of being overweight. Now, this is the most important sentence of this video. The duration of feeding is also closely related to the expression of genes involved in the circadian rhythm and circadian clock system. And irregular eating can also affect the stability of diet-related clock oscillators located in peripheral tissues of the central nervous system. So sleep is a very important component of circadian rhythm, sleep-wake cycles, but meal timing and irregular meal timing also perturb your body's circadian clock system. This is the most important thing. So it turns out that all these studies that have found that breakfast eating is the most important meal of the day, and you have to have breakfast even if you're not hungry because it's like so good for you. The bowl of Wheaties, the corn puffs, and Raisin Bran is just so healthy. If you don't have that, you're going to develop all these diseases, right? If you don't start your day with basically sugar, then you're at risk of having these problems. Well, part of the reason why irregular eating could be problematic, even if people are eating junk, is because irregular eating perturbs your body's circadian clock system in a negative way. And so this is why it's very important to be a little bit more intentional about when you exercise, when you wake up, when you go to bed, when you eat your meals, because it turns out, particularly if you suffer from sleep issues and sleep-wake issues, this is really problematic for peri and postmenopausal women, needless to say. Eat consistently around the same time every day. Try to exercise around the same time. It turns out that your peripheral tissues, like your liver, your muscle tissue, your fat tissue, are sensitive to your daily habits and your feed fasting patterns, which I think is really important. So we're going to continue to talk a little bit more about this and talk about what the study found. But first, I just want to say thank you all for being here. If you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button. Now, since we're talking about sleep-wake cycles and being consistent with feeding fasting programs, it's important that you understand that if you eat too close to bedtime, that will perturb your sleep, and that is linked with developing overweight or obesity. So I'm a huge fan of using berberine hydrochloride, especially at night, because it's a great way to kickstart your fast. When you take berberine, it helps to control those evening food cravings. There's hundreds of reviews on the Myoscience Berberine Fasting Accelerator, which features a very clean form of berberine hydrochloride along with biotin as well as alpha-lipoic acid. So there's hundreds of reviews over at Myoscience. You can see what other people are finding just like you by checking out those reviews before you buy. You can also use the code podcast over at myoscience.com to save. Again, a great tool if you are like me and you suffer from craving cookies or ice cream or alcohol and all those things that will derail your health-related behaviors and progress when it comes to improving metabolic health. Berberine can be a tool to help you with that. So you can save by going to myoscience.com. Okay, so now let's go to figure 3, and then we'll talk about the conclusions from this analysis. We're going to look at the waist circumference and its association with breakfast consumption frequency. And as you can see here, there's a lot more normal weight individuals that are having breakfast more frequently that might lead to the aberrant conclusion that it's the breakfast that is the reason why so many of these individuals are of normal weight. But as we go down to the discussion and talk about what these investigators say, the present studies show that people with regular breakfast consumption habits, including never eating breakfast and eating breakfast every day, had lower mean body mass index than in those who ate breakfast 1 to 3 times per week, which is consistent with the previous studies. In theory, people who eat breakfast every day should have the highest energy intake and correspondingly the highest weight, but in reality, they weigh smaller. At the same time, those who ate breakfast daily spent more time outdoors and ate fewer late night snacks per week, suggesting that normal lifestyle habits are beneficial for weight loss. So getting outdoors more often. We're going to talk about that even more in just a moment, but I think this is really important, especially when it comes to exercise. When given the option, if you can exercise outdoors versus in a gym, choose outdoors all day long, even if it's going to be not the best workout, because there are intangible benefits to just exposing your eyes and your body to the sun and to nature. So I think that's important. The investigators say breakfast consumption was subdivided into 4 different frequencies based upon our study, but the average BMI levels associated with eating breakfast daily and eating breakfast 4 to 6 days per week were similar. We believe that this may be related to the fact that breakfast consumption habits on the weekends are different from those on the weekdays, and whether this difference between eating breakfast daily, etc., it needs additional research. Okay, now here's where things get really juicy. They say when the frequency of outdoor activities was more than 5 times per week, the mediating effect of sleep remained significant. In previous studies, exercise significantly improves sleep efficiency. Our study may suggest that adequate amounts of exercise are required to have an effect on sleep. In fact, numerous scholars also emphasize the importance of regular exercise. Regular exercise may improve sleep quality by increasing the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factors, and increase muscle fat oxidation. This may be related to the fact that the effects of exercise on the body's health are reflected in molecular and cellular changes over a longer period of time. This also shows the importance of sticking to exercise and habit stacking. So it turns out that when you start to stack all these different habits, circadian rhythm, health optimization, getting to bed on time, waking up at the same time every day, practicing time-restricted feeding, exercising outdoors. All these habits stack upon each other and really help to improve all sorts of aspects of health. But they say, in conclusion, this study suggests that short evening sleep duration may be the main cause of overweight caused by irregular breakfast in graduate students, and the mediating effect is still significant when outdoor activities are greater than 5 times per week. The differences in the effects of skipping breakfast versus eating breakfast irregularity on obesity are still under debate, and we believe that the effects of breakfast consumption during the week and breakfast consumption during the weekends on obesity remain worthy of study. Sleeping late and sleeping short are 2 concepts, and the effect of these 2 different concepts on the body's metabolism is also a point of concern. Most importantly, this study shows that regular breakfast consumption, adequate sleep duration, and adequate outdoor physical activity are all essential for weight maintenance. So again, going back to stacking all these habits, and this is, I think, as we conclude here, kind of the shortcomings of just monomaniacally focusing on calorie restriction. Like, you have to just be in a calorie deficit. Why aren't you losing weight? It's just all about calories. No, it's all these different things put together: sleep, circadian rhythm health, when you're eating, meal frequency, meal timing. They all matter. It's not just about the calorie deficit. There are other factors that affect weight maintenance and whether or not you've been gaining or losing weight. So I would love to know what you think in the comment section below, my friends. It's cool to hear investigators are starting to enumerate and talk about the health benefits of outdoor activity and eating outdoors and exercising outdoors and sleep-wake cycles and circadian rhythm health as it relates to metabolic health as well as body composition. So we'll catch you on a future episode down the road. I appreciate you tuning all the way through. Thanks for your likes, your comments, your shares. We'll see you later.